Hey guys, and welcome back to War Thunder. It's KrebsCOHO here, and chances are if you're seeing this video right now, then I've managed to get my recording and processing software all back to normal. So we should hopefully be back onto our normal schedule of at least a video uploaded onto the channel each day. Now, just before we actually get out onto talking about how you can increase your chances of winning the E100 in the latest event, I wanted to give you guys a quick update, a quick channel update, an explanation and apology of the lack of videos over the last week and a half. Firstly, there was Christmas and New Year's. I hope you guys all had an amazing Christmas and New Year's. I had some family around, and I have this kind of anxiety where I just don't like recording around other people. I just don't like them hearing me, so I didn't record anything. But also, I upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And if you've ever upgraded your operating system or changed your operating system, then I'm sure you know exactly what it's like. You have to reinstall your programs, but also as a YouTuber, there's a lot of settings involved with the recording and processing software. So if you're seeing like this perfect picture HD 1080p in front of you and also good audio, then that's because I managed to get my settings all back to normal as what they should be. Now the E100, this is what you guys are here for, aren't you? How you can increase your chances. No, I say increase chances, not guarantee getting the E100. It's still, it's a very competitive process. There's only going to be made 700 available to players within War Thunder. And in order to get your hands on one, you have to come in top positions in the 4 tournaments. The first 2 tournaments is going to be made available to dog tag owners, whereas the last 2 are going to be made available to non-dog tag owners also. I'm a dog tag owner, okay? So I could partake in this tournament, this first one, which was arcade-based. And at the time of this video, the RB1, the Realistic Battles one, should be starting today. Now, I managed to come in the top 150, and it wasn't a high position. It wasn't amazing, like, you know, top 10 or anything. But you know what, guys? It doesn't matter. The prize is all the same. If you're in the top 150, you get an E100. It doesn't matter if you're first, second, third, whatever. Top 150 is all that matters. And I'm the kind of person, if there's a tournament, I will go for the minimum requirements in order to get the top prize. It's kind of like when the 1 vs 1 duels was going on in Air Battles, that tournament. I came literally 10th position because the top 10 got the highest prize, and whatever. I'll get the 10th position. That's fine with me. It's the same prize as first place. So that's what you guys should be aiming for as well, unless you're super competitive. You know, you don't have to stress yourself out completely. Top 150 should definitely be doable. And in the later tournaments, it's going to be top 200. So, you know, potentially easier, potentially anyway. Now, there are things to consider. It's a 3 vs 3 tournament. Each person has 3 lives. You can win by outright destroying your opponents, wasting all their lives, or you can cap the cap zone. It's like a conquest objective. You can cap the cap zone and bleed your opponent of tickets. Now, since it's a 3 vs 3, you can squad up with people. And squatting up with people is definitely gonna increase your chances of success. There's no surprise there. However, you might be disheartened by that, but I don't want you guys to be disheartened because you can still get relatively high by soloing. I managed to get to round position 400 to 600 and keep that position by soloing, okay? And that was me partying up with just random people. So you can definitely get high as long as you're a competent player. But if you want to get into those top positions, the top 150 or 200, and get that E100, then you're definitely gonna have to party up with others. And I don't mean party up or squad up with just, you know, your random Joe average player. You gotta get in with good people. For myself, I was teamed up with TCM Blanca. He's actually a person I met through the 2 vs 2 Air Battles duels, another tournament that was going on, oh, I don't know, maybe even like almost a year ago now. I met him through that, and he was a really good player, and so we teamed up together throughout this entire tournament. But we needed a 3rd person to complete that wheel, and unfortunately, the people that we partied up with weren't the best. As in, you know, we got to around 400 or even position 250, but eventually we met a wall, like a limit. And you kind of have to like push through this limit, try to figure out where is your team lacking. Is it in your play, or is it even with a person? And we felt like that third person was kind of lacking, and so we ended up just partying, TCM, Blanca, and myself, and we came across this random guy called Talenka, and he was a really good player. You know, we just got up with him randomly, and we said, hey, you know, you're a good player, do you want to party up with us? And from that moment, you know, we got on a 10 win streak that propelled us from position 600 all the way into the hundreds and below. So, you know, having good players is definitely important. So you might be asking, well, how do I find good players, Krebs? Well, there is a way. Simply by partying up with random people, you know, just queuing by yourself in a solo queue. Eventually you'll come across other people who might carry your team, or you notice that they did something particularly well, in which case you might feel the temptation to message them afterwards and say, hey, you know, you played really well that round, do you want to party up together, squad up together, and try to win this tournament? And that's definitely one way that you can meet people, as we did with Talenka here. Now, with tank lineups, it's also very important what you take out into battles. We went with a 2 American setup and 1 Russian setup. 2 Americans, 1 Russian. But there are lots of other setups that I've seen as well. The most effective I've seen is this one, but also 3 Russians, because those T-34-85 variants are very strong. You could choose 3 of them essentially, so 3 T-34s for all your lives. And on maps like Poland, where there are a lot of flanking streets, they can be super effective. But we went with the double Americans and 1 Russian because it has really good flexibility and really good firepower. The kind of vehicles that you want to go for are vehicles that kind of have better survivability, where you have to aim at weak spots in order to do damage. Because Gaijin made available tier 3 vehicles and tier 4 vehicles. But you definitely don't want to go for those lower tier ones, you know, like the Panzer IV, the T-34-57, or even the Jagdpanzer, because they just die so fast. You can shoot them literally anywhere, and they just die so quick. However, there are some exceptions to that rule, because when we were going out with the Americans, we had the availability of a numerous amount of vehicles, but we opted with going for the Calliope, then the T-25, then the M18 Hellcat, or Black Cat even. So you might think, okay, the Calliope and the M18 Black Cat probably die very fast, and yes, they do. However, they have very good mobility and very good firepower that makes up for that lack of survivability. Put it like this. They put a Calliope into the tournament, which is a ridiculous idea in the first place, but that's what they did. So we opted off with going for 2 Calliopes, because usually if you see 1 Calliope, it's like a team effort to try and take down that single Calliope. But when there's 2, then it gets really crazy and very hard for the enemy team. You can rack up those kills very, very fast. So you might be asking, why not just go for 3 Calliopes then? That might be a little bit overkill, because at that stage, I don't know, I just feel like you have to have something more mobile than a Calliope, and that's why we went for that T-34 that Blanca is going for. He's the Russian guy. He went for the T-34s and IS-2s, and by having that T-34 right at the very start of a match meant that he could go to areas, positions faster than we could in our Calliopes. He could get on a cap zone, he could get on a flank faster than we could, and then by the time we caught up with him, you know, here comes the cavalry of the massive rockets. We could shoot over cover, like on Berlin. We could shoot over cover at the enemies and they could barely do anything to us. And you just have to imagine, you know, these rockets do a lot of damage. They can critical enemies, destroy their barrels, destroy components within, or kill crew members, or just outright blow the enemies up in one rocket or a few rockets. So the firepower is definitely there. It's just the survivability that lacks a little bit. And so we started off with the Calliope, moved on to the T-25, another very powerful vehicle, has good armor, very good firepower. Just we got to be a bit cautious about the lack of reload speed on that T-25. The T-25 has a longer reload speed than the T-34-85 variants and the Tigers, so you have to kind of like dive in and out of cover. And then lastly, the M18 Black Cat is such a fast vehicle, both forward and reverse. Like, you can just get out of awkward positions very quick, flank around enemies. The reload speed on the gun is amazing. The firepower potential is great. It's just all around a very good vehicle. And so with the Russian guy, Blunka, he would start off with a T-34-85, and then eventually he would work his way into the IS-2 after he died. And the IS-2 is an amazing vehicle as well, because you can just outright dirt people in one shot, right? But also, I've seen some players that have been doing some pretty strange stuff with the IS-2. Instead of going forwards with the IS-2, they've actually been reversing the IS-2 into combat. Now you might be thinking that's a ridiculous idea, why would you do that, you're just gonna die. Well, there's actually a bit of logic behind it. It's because the IS-2 is not like the IS-2 mod 1944 with the extra armor on the front of the hull. This is the earlier variant where the hull armor is actually very weak at the front, so you can lose your crew members very quickly. And so what people do is they reverse instead, because you're more guaranteed to lose crew members than you are to be instantly blown up by a shot into your rear end. And so I've seen people doing that, and it helps protect that hull armor most definitely. So that should give you guys an idea of what kind of setups you should go for. I really think that the double American, one Russian is very powerful. Those Calliopes can absolutely negate that extra armor that the Germans have on the Tiger P or the Tiger. It just absolutely wrecks them. The Calliopes are so powerful, so powerful. And the great mobility on the Russians helps out a lot as well. But also with map tactics, you kind of have to learn that from experience. On Poland, you'll want to be flanking from different areas. And in general, what you should be doing at start is one person going off by themselves, and then two other people staying together on another flank. And what this should do is that the lone person should try to get in flanking shots, but also just holding off any enemies that they might see, whereas the other two players that are together are doing work, trying to pick off people together. They should be doing some cooperation. So that's what we tried to go for. We tried to go for a split, a 2-1 split. And on certain maps, you do different things. On Poland, we like to go on different flanks, whereas on Eastern Europe in the previous clip, what you should try to do is get one person on top of the hill straight away, because that hill is such an amazing position where you can just snipe anyone down in the areas below on the cap zone or in the city. So definitely try to get on the hill ASAP, and then the other two people can work their way in the city itself. Now, what other maps are there? There's also Berlin. Calliopes are absolutely amazing on Berlin. Like, you just cannot lose on Berlin if you take out Calliopes. There's just no way. Because there's so much rubble that you can hide yourself, hide your hull, hide your turret, and your rockets can be pointed on over, and you can shoot with and without taking any damage yourself. Absolutely amazing map. And what else? I feel like there's another one, but it's completely slipped my mind. Oh man, this is awful. Oh well, I've totally forgotten what it is. Maybe you guys can remind me in the comment box below. I've totally forgotten. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about was also just your attitude in a match. If you ever get in a position where your teammates have died and you're solo, what you should do is wait for your other teammates to respawn and catch up with you. Also, if you're an enemy on the enemy team and you manage to kill, you know, two of the enemies and there's still one guy left to kill, what you should definitely not do is what's happening right now, where the enemies are coming in one by one towards me. And because that just evens out the playing field for myself. You know, I'm by myself here in the city, and the enemies are coming up. Firstly with that T-34, then that IS-2. I just managed to take them on one by one, finish them off very quickly. And that's not what you should be doing. You should be trying to work in groups to finish off your opponents. And that's the kind of attitude that you should be going for. Also, be positive. Don't try to rage too much. I was raging a little bit, and sometimes you can't really help it, but definitely keeping a positive attitude just keeps the morale up. You know, you will lose. There will be bullshit that happens to you. People will shoot you from 400 meters away on the move, and it will directly go into your tank and kill a lot of stuff. You know, stupid stuff like that will happen. You have to accept it. You will get killed by artillery. You just gotta work your way around it. If there's artillery coming down, you know, get out of the way. If somebody shoots you on the move, maybe you could have protected yourself better. You know, what you gotta be trying to do is not blaming the game for causing your death, but trying to look at yourself and how can I improve myself to make sure that that does not happen again, okay? To make sure that my survivability increases or my chances of killing an enemy increases. But anyway, guys, that should give you some good tips on how to increase your chances of winning the E100. It's not guaranteed. You know, this all I can do is offer you some advice. Now it's up to you guys to make something of that advice. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And until the next one, this is KrebsCOHO. Good luck on the battlefield, and I will catch you guys next time.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show, though we paving the